Andee, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Andee.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Welcome to the Deeb Podcast. This is live. It's our summer series. This is number 3 for the summer. Before I go any farther, I'm asking all of you to please subscribe to this podcast. Before we get started, I want you to subscribe so you get these podcasts in your inbox every couple weeks, because that's how often we do them. And this is a business podcast, so hopefully we're helping you become better as an employer, as an employee, as an entrepreneur, leadership, sales, service. Whatever business you're in, I want to contribute to your success. So this is the reason why we have the Deeb Podcast, and I pick guests that can make us all better. And speaking of that, I have a wonderful guest, Andee Hoig. Hello, Andee.
Hello, Van.
It's nice to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Great, and that will do it for today's podcast.
Wasn't that inspiring?
Yes, I learned a lot. So Andee is a little special to me. We've been a very close friends since the 90s, and she is the owner and proprietor of Midlands Business Journal newspaper, which happens to be the #1 business newspaper in the state and possibly the entire world. But Andee is a...
Woo! Yeah, let's hear it for that. Yeah.
Andee is engaged in the community probably more than anybody that I've met in the last several decades. You just care deeply about the community. We're broadcasting live from Vista, Nebraska, which is outside of Omaha. And Andee's company at Midlands Business Journal is headquartered in Omaha.
Yes.
And we're going to have a great conversation. You're really into 5Ks, but it's not just the running, it's business.
It is business.
It's business. I have participated in, I believe, 3 of those 5Ks.
Yes. Officially, no, but participated in 3.
Yeah, because after a block, I say, let's quit.
We may talk about that a little bit later, but yeah.
We've done one, I'll be damned. We've done one when it was freezing out.
Oh my gosh, it was
the Maverick at Baxter Arena.
Yes.
And it was unbelievably cold. And it's 5 miles, and she was gracious enough to turn around with me after about 2 blocks.
Right.
And that was our 5K.
And I always have to correct Van, folks, that a 5K is not 5 miles. It's 3 miles.
I'll be damned. When did they change that?
Just FYI.
Is that a new thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a new thing over the last...
you know, it is the 90s.
30 years. But
thank you for educating me.
You're welcome.
Or making me look stupid, one of the
Sure, absolutely.
I'm fine with both.
Okay.
And the biggest thing I want to talk about, too, is the newspaper is 50 years old. Now, as an entrepreneur in the industry, I've been in real estate for 42 years. It's not easy to be in the same industry in business for a long time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of grind. There's a lot of days you say, I'm going to do something else. But to stay with it for 50 years, and I'm anxious to visit with you about that also. And then you're also known, she's been on my radio show, which is completely separate from this, at least 3 or 4 times, I think.
Yes.
But she's always got something sparkly on. And whenever I see the sparkly, it makes me smile. So maybe it makes our audience smile too.
Yes. I love sparkles.
So tell us a little bit about the sparkles, because there's some meaning there.
Well, there is a meaning there, so to speak. It kind of goes back to the 5Ks. I will tell you, when I started doing 5Ks when I was 50 years old, and I was wearing tutus and glasses and whatnot.
I wore tutus. That's amazing. A lot in common.
Because they all associated with a charity event. But because I will go back, I know we'll talk about the 5Ks possibly during this. But the first time I was actually going through my photos before I got here to see when was my first sparkly visor? Because I went through a lot of photos, and it was in December of 2022 is when I first spotted my first sparkly visor. And it was green, and it was for a holiday thing. And there's just something about that, for me, it makes, it just brightens up the day. And if anybody's day, it brightens up my day. And I just, I have about 30 of these in different colors. And there's something about that and being uniquely you that I know we'll probably talk about a little bit more, but I love sparkles. I've loved it ever since I was a child. So don't get me wrong. This isn't like a new thing, but I finally found when I saw it, it's like that's me.
And I even got to wear some of your glasses.
Yes, and you.
I wore these glasses on a 5K, whatever it is.
He even had a sparkly visor on. Just FYI, if we could have shown photos up here,
not allowed.
You would see Van in a sparkly visor.
Before I ask you, I've got some questions, and normally
Sure.
I just ask off the cuff, but I just want to make sure that we get these questions because they're so important for all of us to hear your answers. But I want to mention. Speaking of business, we have the CEO of the Omaha Business Ethics Alliance, Anne Marie Mollier, with us today, and I want to welcome her to the podcast.
Yes.
And we also have William Marshall Thiessen, otherwise known as Willie Thiessen, who I know my audience all over the country knows this, and that's he started Godfather's Pizza. He's the founder, and I think it was almost 1,000 stores. Willie, I'm just going to shout out, how many people did you employ over all those years?
The most recent current estimate of not only 9 years, but total, 1,200,000.
Okay, so
1,200,000.
So he's responsible, starting this company, for employing over 1,200,000 people. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an entrepreneur. 80% are first-time job seekers, and a lot of people stayed with it. I just think we're talking about business and entrepreneurs, and I wanted to mention a couple of those people, and we have Blake Peterson also, who is the financial guru, who's also been a guest on my show. And, this is about, there's one thing I love about this community is we have so many people that want to do better.
Yes.
We have so many people that say, hey, I've got a good job or I've got a good career, but I want more. I want to be better, because when we make a decision to be better, we make everybody around us want to be better, and it becomes contagious.
Agreed.
And I can't tell you how many great people I know in business in my industry that leave a lot of talent on the table. They're great at what they do, but they could be better. And I'm fortunate to have a family called Prime Home Realty, and got a bunch of them here today, and Katie and Maggie and Jackie and Ryan and Sarah, and we're just grateful that they're here with us today. But they're entrepreneurs, and they're constantly wanting to be better. So what is this question? If you want to buy or sell a home, call the agents at Prime.
Yeah, I put that in there for you, Van.
Call those people I just mentioned at Prime Home. Yeah. I'll be danged. What a shameless plug, especially when you do that with your cup. Anyway, so I wanted to mention those people, and then some great people are here in the room today. Okay, I've got a question for you.
Please.
This is an entrepreneurial awakening question. You started your 5K journey when you turned 50 in 2016.
Yes.
Then you became the CEO and publisher of your father's business during the pandemic. And unfortunately, Bob, who I thought the world of, passed in 2019. Now in 2025, Midlands Business Journal celebrates its 50th anniversary. How did that personal transformation you begin at 50 prepare you to lead during one of the most challenging times in the media world?
Yeah. I will tell you
It's a great question.
It is a great question. I'm glad I'm glad you thought of it. It's a great question.
Here, Van, ask me these. No, I'm kidding.
You know, when I started my 5K journey, and I actually have a Facebook page called My 5K Journey, but back then I'd never done a 5K, and at that time I was running Metro Magazine, which I'm still doing, but when I made that decision, there was something about that commitment. I wanted to be committed to something that would challenge me. I didn't want to do something that was easy and that was easy.
I think the key word there is challenge.
Yeah.
You challenged yourself.
I really did.
You didn't wait for somebody to say, I challenge you to be better at this.
Right.
You made a decision.
And I knew by doing these 5Ks, especially for my body too, because when you look at entrepreneurship, when you look at running a business, or you look at showing up in a business, your body needs to be aligned with you. If you don't have, I don't want to be so specific, but for me, having a challenge and then also challenging my body, because you have to get up. And there are many times when I got up, or I woke up on a Saturday morning, and I'm like, oh my God, why did I commit to do this? But I got up and did it anyway. And that really is the true kind of journey of an entrepreneur, when you're like, why did I sign up for this? But I did. And you show up, and I did it, and it was just so amazing. So to answer kind of the journey of that question is that it really showed me how the importance of showing up, whether you want to or not.
You know, you said something about keeping your body, keeping in shape, or, pertaining to. We got to take care of ourselves, because we got to make sure that what we're putting in our bodies is going to help us get to where we want to go.
Yeah.
If you put the wrong things in your body, you're going to end up not being the best you can be. It's a full circle.
It truly is.
Entrepreneurship is not just saying I want to be good at business. You got to be good at taking care of yourself, because you're going to be.
Yeah.
And speaking of posturing, we got a posturing specialist in the room, Miss Ann Murley. And if you want to have the best, the best alignment and posturing, she has a Facebook page. Her name is Ann Murley. I'm a client, and she's unbelievable, and it makes me feel better. And if I feel better, what am I going to do in the business world? I'm going to do better. So we can't just talk about how much better we want to be in business without talking about how much we want to make ourselves feel the best we can possibly feel.
Yeah.
You should look at yourself as a temple, and you want to make sure to take care of that temple. Absolutely.
And, I will say there are moments sometimes when we don't do that 100%. It's a roller coaster, but to make that kind of your priority. And we'll talk about the unstoppable thing.
Yeah.
Because that truly is, when you look at...
I love that word.
Yeah, you as an individual to be unstoppable. And, Van, before a couple of weeks ago, I was really curious, because it's like, I want to talk about unstoppable, but then I thought, well, I don't want to infringe on other, books being written. There's over 100 books with the word unstoppable in them. There's, countless songs with that. So it's a word that people, what does that mean?
So who makes the decision if you decide you want to be unstoppable? Who's in charge of that?
Well, I used to say my dad, and then my cat, Raj, would really be influential.
Raj, there you go.
Okay. And I know you would say Baxter, but honestly, in all honesty, it's up to us whether we want to be unstoppable or not. And what does that mean to us?
Yeah. So I think, I'm a big fan, and I repeat this over and over on my podcasts and in speeches and when I coach people. If you incorporate the 5 Ds in whatever you're doing, and my coworkers are primer, like, we've heard this a million times. Well, you can't hear it enough. Drive, desire, determination, discipline, and decision. You master those 5 Ds, you are on a course that you're going to experience amazing success. And the number one, to me, is decision.
Yes.
So if you decide, you know what? I don't want to be average. I don't want to be like everybody else in my industry. I want to be unstoppable. So to make sure that's not lip service, now you have to back it up one and go to discipline. What do I have to do to create a discipline to help me with my decision to become unstoppable? And I'm not telling you things that I read in the books. I'm telling you things that I did from day one.
Yeah.
When I started a real estate company, everybody said, no, you're not going to make it. And all of a sudden, the same people that said that are offering me 7 figures to go away 15 years later to buy me, to buy us. I know for a fact that I don't care where you're at, what your situation is, what your challenges are, who you are, what your personal life is like. Once you make a decision and you create the discipline, you've created a roadmap. This is how I'm going to get there. Yes. Everybody is a candidate. I truly believe that God didn't say, you're going to be successful, you aren't. You're going to be successful, you aren't. He wants all of us to fulfill all of our dreams.
100%.
But we have to be the quarterback of that team, and we have to make the decision to be unstoppable. And I think of you when I think of that word, because everything you're doing, especially with the 50 years tribute you're doing with the Midlands Business Journal. I mean, she's shown me some of these newspapers from, I think, Willie, you were on the cover, back in the 80s? It was really cool going back, seeing these Omaha business people 50 years ago and what they were doing.
And, I mean, speaking of Willie, since he is here in the audience, I mean...
Where's our pizza?
Where's our pizza? But when you look at what you were doing back then and looking at what was in your mindset, and this would be a great conversation, is what were you doing to be unstoppable? Because you were moving the needle forward. And also, during the times when things might have thrown you off from being unstoppable. But that, to me, you're just the epitome of somebody being unstoppable that is still going and going. And it's
and
not
his roadmap is now philanthropy and helping everybody else,
absolutely.
Feeding people and just doing great things in our community.
Would you like to join us on stage?
Yeah. Okay. I'll trade you and I'll eat whatever you got. I do want to ask this because, we're leaders. And you are all leaders. If you say you're a leader, then you're a leader. And you act accordingly. Agreed. I don't care what your position is. If you want to lead, people will follow. But I like to have fun in leadership. Yes. And I think that the old corporate way is you got to be stoic and this and that. And, I believe that you can lead really well by making sure everybody's enjoying themselves and having a good time and not being so serious. You're sparkly visors. I mean, people are giving you a lot of money for advertising, and you're asking a lot from people to help support the Midlands Business Journal, but you're making it fun for people. You're making it enjoyable. I mean, I'd have a hard time believing that you go walk into a meeting with that on, that they're not going to smile.
I would agree. And it's funny, Van, because this has become kind of my thing. Yeah. And I sometimes I'm like, okay, should I wear a visor to this? Should I not wear a visor to this? And I just like wearing these. But really, you have to bring fun into what you do. When you don't, as an entrepreneur, I think it's more challenging. Yeah. And I think you'll see as I get older, because you're kind of like stepping into the whole, well, people like me or take me seriously. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't really care in the sense where this is just me. And I know, like, I didn't wear a visor when we met with you. I was really tempted. God, I was like, I was super tempted. So it's just a part of being you as the person and what you're representing. And
You know who I want to do business with?
who?
Authentic people.
Yeah.
I want real humans. I don't care what your financial status is. I don't care what you drive, where you live. But if you're authentic and you're a good human, I want to do business with you. Just be you. Everybody else is taken. Be who you are, and people will embrace that.
Right.
Now, if there's certain things about you that people don't like and there's keeping you from doing business, then guess what? You should probably change and pivot.
Yeah,
so
or look
people
at that.
like you.
Yeah, for sure, look at that. But I'll also say this: Bev Crocker, who Business Ethics Alliance. Bev is such a unique individual, and whenever I kind of think of myself, I think of her, and I'm like, you know what? Just being your authentic you is so important, and that the energy that puts out in the world changes everything.
And that doesn't mean you have to wear something different. It just means being.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you could look like the most stoic business person on the planet, but you're just you're authentic.
Yes.
And you're real.
Yes.
And that's part of it's part of entrepreneurship.
It's a wild ride journey, and it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. Tell us more about the Midlands Business Journal with your 50th year.
Sure.
And you have Impact 250.
Oh, I'd love to talk about that. Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead.
Let's talk about it. So, I'm gonna diverse a little bit. Do you mind if I go back to the history of?
I do mind.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So let me.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for those of you who are watching that don't know about Midlands Business Journal, my father founded it in 1975. I was 9 years old. He at that time had worked for. Do you mind if I? You're okay with me telling this story, right, Van?
I'm okay with you telling any story.
Okay. All right.
If not, I'll just have Dylan cut it out later.
And this actually leads up.
And you won't know about it.
This actually, though, I think it leads up to Impact 250. And looking at my father, and I'm such my father's daughter in so many ways. But when he founded MBJ back in 1975, he was sitting around at the Omaha Press Club here in Omaha, Nebraska. With a bunch of guys and saying, hey, I've got this great idea for this business newspaper, this weekly business newspaper. And people were looking at him like, are you insane? There's not enough business stories. There's not enough, nobody's going to advertise in it. And he just went for it. And looking at the 50 years that where we come to this point and him, being so involved up until he got ill in 2017, it really made me look at what was the reason and what drove him to create this, which ties into Impact 250. And so as we entered our 50th year, I'm like, I want to do something, and I'm always up for a challenge. I need something to be a little bit more than I think I can, that I can do.
It keeps it fun, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. And it keeps you, it just keeps your brain. We should talk about brain power before we end this conversation, because our brains are just so incredibly beautiful and also something to take care of. But
do you think I have a beautiful brain?
I think you do.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah. So Impact 250, I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And it's like, I want to share small business stories, and because that really truly was one of the things that he was so passionate about back in 1975, because there were all these business stories that weren't being told. And in 1975, there truly were not. So I said, let's look at committing to doing a certain amount of stories over a 1-year period. I first thought about doing 50, which wasn't enough. And then I thought about 100. And then I thought, let's do 500. And then I realized that would just overtax everybody in my organization. But Impact 250 is truly telling small business stories on 250 businesses that either we've we've talked about, but a lot of them we haven't. And there's something about sharing those stories about small and local business that is so important. I mean, it's just so important. And so we've got great stories that we've told and that we're going to be telling. We don't even know some of them as of yet.
And some of the cool things that I like that you do, Andee, is you're a constant learner.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She goes on trips with other publishers, conferences, and you always come back with a spark in your step.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know, but Andee and I and Willie meet just about every Sunday morning for coffee, and we discuss business in Omaha, Nebraska. And we've been doing this for years, and we just pick an hour, and we talk about what's happening in Omaha. But when she gets back from her publishing trips with other publishers throughout the United States, you learn something new. And I'm constantly preaching as entrepreneurs, we should all be trying to learn something new to be better at our trade.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that are advancing, whether it's in technology or this and that, but it's also being around people when you're learning different ways people think and how they're solving problems. It's so important. It really is.
So tell us more about, the newspaper has got such a deep history.
Yes.
And I love seeing some of the archives. Do you have some favorite issues or some favorite stories?
Well,
I mean, you didn't put that in. You didn't ask me to ask you that, but I want to ask you that.
Well, you know what? Again, as we've been going through this 50th year, and we have issues from we have archives from every single issue. It's just really interesting to see what people were talking about back then. And these are some more funny stories. When you really dive into just the rich history of the entrepreneurs and the leaders that have what this community has been back since 1975. But it's just, I remember back looking at an article, and I think this was a syndicated, but there was a gentleman writing in that really had issues because his boss was a female and he wasn't sure how to treat her, and he didn't know. I mean, he was asking, do I need to treat her like a woman, or can I? I mean, it was just really interesting back in 1975, 1976, what was in the mind of a man working for a woman, because he just did not like it at all. And I don't think you'd get that kind of Q&A.
Times are changing.
Yes, they are. They are.
Times changed, I should say, for the better.
And when you also look back through the history of MBJ and who we were, the articles being done on people, you have to look at how many women were on, in the mix of the articles, how many minorities were in the mix of articles, and where we are today. And that's one of the things I love about what we're doing is these 50th anniversary, these 50th years of 50 anniversary type pieces. So.
I'm just talking to Dylan.
Yeah, I know. He's like, what are you guys talking?
We're just talking about what we're going to do later after this is over.
Yeah.
You want to play some pool or what? Okay, cool. No, I'm kidding.
I actually wanted to bring up something that kind of pinged me today because I was getting ready for this, and I have to, every time I do anything when I'm on stage, I'm always a little bit nervous, regardless of what happens when I'm up here.
You were just on stage 2 days ago in front of 1,000 people that we witnessed, and you did a great job.
But here's the thing that I actually want people to know as entrepreneurs or just people in general is that, a lot of times we can go back and live in the past, and whether it's yesterday or 2 years ago or 2 days ago, and bring up all that kind of emotional stuff, and then our energies around that. And I'm getting very aware of when I'm going to the past, because it really sucks when you live in bad headspace in the past.
And we're in control of that. It's just difficult.
Yeah. I mean, and you have to be very mindful of looking to the future, looking to your future self, looking to what's happening. So I realized when I was kind of getting a funk, I actually put myself back on stage on Friday when it was a beautiful thing and it was really great. And what I've read so much about, your brain doesn't know if you're there or if you're sucking wind or if you're just on the path to hell. Your brain doesn't know any of that that's true for you. It's what you're telling yourself. And I'm just bringing that up because I am so adamant that when you go into a space that does not move the needle and make you unstoppable, go someplace that does.
Ooh, good
because
advice.
your energy and your life, your life will just start to shift. And if you remember that every time, I don't even care what it is, that's going to change you.
Wow. That's great advice.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about how your brain can go somewhere after an edible. I really caught what you were saying.
No,
there,
I mean,
so-
truly, you have to be in control of what happens in your head, and it's really hard, but you can. Can you tell how I'm freaking passionate I am about that?
I know how passionate you are. And
because it happens to me all the time. I
love where your head's at, because I want to tell you, this is nonstop with Andee. She wants to be better. And that's why I was so pleased to have her as a guest today, because I want her to rub off on all of us is you want to be better every day.
Yeah.
And instead of just doing these 5Ks, she turns it into a business. She walks with people that are CEOs in Omaha, that are impactful people, that are just people that are philanthropists, people that are working for nonprofits, just anybody, and you're learning about people. You're not just walking, you're talking.
Yeah.
It's a great way to utilize your time. And
It is. And it's a great way for me to start the morning. It's just,
But and this is going to close up in a little bit because we don't like to go too long, and we're going to open it up for some question and answers. We've got a mic over here, live mic, that people might have any questions for Andee or myself. But I just want to make sure that we really understand this. We live in a different world. We live in a very divisive world. You've got to find a way to shut off the noise. You got to find a way to shut off things that don't please you. You just have to, because it will stay in your head, like you talked about earlier, just now. And we have the ability to move the needle towards things that we do want to be involved in. And if you're getting ready to do something that you really don't want to do, maybe there's a reason you really don't want to do it. Concentrate on the things that you know are going to bring you joy and happiness. But entrepreneurially, I'm telling you, there's nothing that we can't do if we want something bad enough. And, it's not like we have to be great at something to get started. We just have to get started to be great at something, and it happens. It happens. You just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
And surround yourself. I can't tell you how important that is. Surround yourself around like-minded people. I can't wait for my meetings or visits, not really call it a meeting, but it's like a meeting, visiting with you and Willie. I walk out of there those excited about starting my week.
Yes.
Because we're fired up. We want to go make a difference. And chances are, if you focus on making a difference in somebody else's life, you're going to make a huge difference in your own.
And can I add one more thing?
Please.
Before we wrap up?
Yeah.
If something doesn't feel right, whether it's something with work or with your family or whatever, if something just doesn't feel right, you need to really look at that. You need to ask a question. I am always asking myself questions. When something pings me, what is this? Do I need to look at this? Start asking yourself serious questions and then just shut up and see what answers you get. Because the intuitive side of our lives, I think, is so we just don't talk about that. That when something is pinging you that it's not good, you need to really look at that. And when something feels really light, look at that as well, because life is giving us these beautiful answers and this roadmap. Yeah. And if we would just be quiet and listen to those little pings that we get, good or bad, it just creates for a much more enjoyable time being here during our life.
And don't you think following your heart usually is going to lead you in the right direction?
Yes, I mean, it does. I mean, and again, when you get kind of pinged that's a perfect way to say it, Van, following your heart, following those moments. Because if you're getting like, don't do this, this doesn't feel good, I feel kind of nauseated by it, you need to look at that.
And you want to take a look at your own life and your own space and say, am I where I want to be? And if not, you got to pivot. You got to make some adjustments.
100%.
And that's the one thing about this beautiful country that we live in, this wonderful city and entrepreneurial world that we live in, is there's nothing we can't do if we want something bad enough. A lot of people in this room are proof. When you say, you just have to engage, implement,
right,
and incorporate the 5 Ds. And we can do anything we want to do.
I would agree. And
Andy,
even, you're going to,
no,
were you going to
go ahead. I was going to say thank you for being here.
I know.
You're not done. So
I know you're going to say that. I was just going to say it. Even when you get kind of in the shit and crap of things, it's not the end. It might be showing you something, or you can learn something from it. So just never give up. Never give up with what your reality is showing you, because there's a completely different reality that you can have.
Yep. Well, I want to say thank you for me and Hurrdat Media, and what a special honor having you on the show. Let's give a round of applause for.
Thank
you. Surround yourself around people you want to learn from, and it will make your life a lot easier. I do want to do some question and answers. Questions, if anybody has any questions. We've got a mic over here for Andy or myself. Come on up, and this is all going to be on the podcast. You'll be able to watch it on all your favorite podcast platforms forever. Okay. What's your name and what's your question?
Thank you. Charnel Shelton here. Thank you for doing this podcast. Andy, thank you for inviting us. I wanted you to speak a little bit about how, MBJ wasn't your vision. You hadn't worked on it. It was already something established and something like it's a family heirloom. And then you decided to take up and continue your father's legacy. Can you talk about the importance, and do you feel like that was something that you always knew that you had to do, and what you've learned from that?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. What a great question. Wow. That's a whole episode in itself. But, growing up in a publishing family, I went out on my own when I was 26 and did Metro Magazine for a lot of different reasons, but also I really truly loved Metro Magazine. Was about philanthropy and the nonprofit charitable world. And when my father, the funny thing is when you're so much like someone, you really sometimes have a lot of that. And a lot of conflict. And I didn't know that I wanted to do MBJ. In fact, I kind of knew that I didn't. And I'll be honest with you, did not want to do MBJ. And when my father got sick in 2017, and even before that, we kind of really started coming back together. We started looking at each other like, hey, I see you, he sees me. Oh my gosh, we're a lot to like. And we got very, very close in a way that we just couldn't do. It just wasn't in the cards when we were earlier, when I was younger. And when he passed away, again, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do MBJ, because I'm this big thinker, big visionary, and I just knew what MBJ was it had these rules around it. And I just wasn't sure if I could go in and break those rules very easily. So I've never said it that way. Thank you for the question. And when COVID hit, I'm like, you know what? I need to step back in, because one of the things is I knew everything was changing, and that I could start to change things. Not to change the foundation of what Midlands Business Journal was, but to look to the future and actually see, wow, look at all the other possibilities that I could come in there with that kind of energy. And so that's, I mean, there was this moment in, I think March or April, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take this on. And then that's been a journey in itself over the last 5 years. But I'm really happy with where I'm at and where MBJ is going. It's amazing. There's so many possibilities. So thanks for the question.
I've got one I want to ask you. How has AI changed the way you do business?
So, and it's so funny, like AI is just like a train, just a runaway train coming into the business. And really, AI has been here for so long. So it just got very much on the map. And from our perspective, it doesn't change how we report on news. It doesn't report how we share stories and whatnot. It makes some things easier, where I can ask, hey, put together an outline for me, and then I can then develop the outline. AI has its place, 100%. It has its place. You can abuse it, or you can use it, and you can make things better.
Great answer. Are you still accepting nominations for Entrepreneur of the Year or 40 Under 40?
No, those closed a couple weeks ago.
Then why did I ask that?
Because you want me to talk about 40 Under 40.
Because I wasted. Tell us about 40 Under 40. Now that's a tradition for how long?
This is our 24th year. My dad founded it in 2002, and oh my gosh, it's an amazing way. And you're one of our 40 Under 40 honorees that we honor individuals under the age of 40. And when you look at we're at about 1,000 now of
in this fraternity.
Yeah. Of this alumni. And I mean, you've got like Todd Simon and Mike Castling, and you have these people that have done great things in the community and are community leaders now. So we are now we're now sifting through the nominations, and we'll probably be announcing them, you and me, at the end of September, early October. And I know Van is the MC again this year.
Again.
Entrepreneur of the Year sponsor.
Prime Home Realty sponsor.
Willie has agreed. I was going to say I think has agreed. I'm just going to flat out forget the I think. Has agreed to speak again, and it's just it's a great event. It'll be in. I'm just like, don't you like?
It'll be in January of 2026.
January 2026, and that kind of segues into also our 50th anniversary gala that's happening at the end of January. It's a huge year for us.
Yeah, and the best way to stay in touch with Andee is social media.
Yeah.
Just to see what Midlands Business Journal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got a crew here too from Midlands Business Journal. I'm glad that
I do. I mean, I said, would you guys? Did I say, would you wear your sparkly hats, or did I say, you need to wear your sparkly hats? I can't remember which I did. So it's a really great, it's an important year, and also looking to the future of what business is in this community.
Yeah. And this city is, Omaha surrounding areas, Omaha, Nebraska surrounding areas are just blowing up. This city's growing and growing and growing, and this is going to be an entrepreneur's paradise, and people that are in my industry are, real estate or related, helping people secure homes. But I won't get into all that. I do want to say thank you again. Is there any more questions? Wilson, who wrote a book about adoption and was on the Van Deeb show also.
And Wilson, we're going to connect for a walking meeting. Okay.
Yes.
My question is, if you could go back and talk to your 19-year-old selves, what piece of advice would you give them?
You want to go first?
Yeah, go
I know
for
what
it.
I'd say.
What?
Buy more land. Mow a lot more yards like I did, and shovel driveways. I mowed yards and shoveled driveways so I could pay for college. But I would have probably tried to buy some land. That's my answer. And not be such an idiot. What's yours?
So my answer is lighten up. I mean, I know business, we got to do our business. And just be you. I mean, truly, I have not been me for most of my life, and for whatever reason, and to just be you and to accept you and to be better too. I mean, we're always evolving. You don't just stay in one place for your life. So just know that you're always evolving and look for the best ways for you to be you.
Great question. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming today, Andee especially. I mean, I know we've been, a little silly, but on a serious note,
Yeah.
you've just done so many great things for the city of Omaha and the state of Nebraska, and
Thank you.
you've helped a lot of people grow. I mean, you've featured people in your newspapers. I encourage anybody that wants to grow their business to reach out to Andee and the people at Midlands Business Journal, because you definitely have the tools to help people grow either online or in print.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody for watching the Andee Podcast. But before I say goodbye, I want you to make sure you subscribe to this so you get these in your inbox. I have great guests, and you'll always leave with some great takeaways to help you in your business, your leadership, service, sales, whatever you're doing, or even just as a human. But thank you to everybody for watching the Andee Podcast.